And should we read like fast? Try to, that it has a lot of rewards, so try to get more and more rewards. Or should we read it very slowly? Which one is good? Now the thing is, we have to ask, what do you mean by fast? How fast are you talking about? Like the Super Express Taraweeh prayers we see in many masajids. Do you mean that fast, trying to complete Qur'an in like 2 days, 3 days? So general rule is that, if you go very fast, it's obviously you're going to stumble upon the words, and you might even change the meaning of the word if you're like reading very fast, and that's problem. That's a problem. And yeah, it's true that you want a lot of rewards, but if you make a lot of mistakes, if you like completely mix two words together into one word, you're like, that might be a sin sometimes if you are doing it carelessly. So that's something that you have to be aware of. And definitely people make so many mistakes really in recitation if they go very fast. It's just that people don't consider it as a serious thing, especially in Ramadan, in Taraweeh prayers. And it also, scholars say that if you do it very fast, it's a kind of belittling the Qur'an. You think that it's not that important. You have to give respect to the Qur'an. And one way you give it is that you give haqq to each and every letter. Haqq, the right to each and every letter. So that is the most important thing. You can read fast or slow, but as long as you give right to the letter, you're fine. You don't have to read very slow, like Qul-014 nas. That is slow. You can read fast as well. But as long as you give right to each and every letter, that's fine. An example that I can give is that sometimes in my house, when my wife tells me to like vacuum the house, or I myself volunteer, I vacuum it very quickly, just to please her. And it happens sometimes that he comes and she comes and she tells, what is this? I see the food particles there. It's not clean. So that's the thing, that it's sometimes we try to do a lot of good things, but we don't really serve the purpose. The goal is not met. The Quran, if you want everything, you have to give right to everything. Recite everything. Don't miss out on anything. Each and every letter has to be recited. And we have this from Sahaba as well, the famous Sahabi Ibn Abbas. When we are talking about Quran, we have to talk about Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. We talk a lot about him when it comes to the tafsir and it comes to the history of Quran and contribution of the Sahaba. We'll go into a lot of detail, but he said, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he said, read Quran in a way in which your ears hear and your heart comprehends. So you should give enough time so that your heart can take that recitation. Just don't focus on rewards of like, oh, I'm going to read very fast, each letter 10 rewards. No. Comprehend on it, and you can multiply the rewards that way much faster actually. So recite slowly and ponder over its meaning. That's the best way. Should we recite in private or should we recite in public? Should we like close the door in our house and recite it so that nobody listens? Which one is better? Thing here is that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ actually said this in Abu Dawud. He said, a person who recites the Quran secretly, he's like the one who gives charity in secret. So the rewards are sometimes we give charity in public and sometimes secretly. Same thing with recitation. You get rewarded, especially if you recite in private. Because the thing here is that you're doing that act purely for the sake of Allah. So that sincerity comes in, and we can say that this person is not showing off. So sometimes we should recite in private, but sometimes it's okay to recite in public as well. And sometimes we should recite in public. Maybe when people see you reciting a lot in public, they'll say, hey, this brother recites, why don't I recite? I should recite too. So that can encourage others. So don't completely give away reciting in public. but do both. Women's recitation. How should women recite? I mean, we said we can recite loudly or silently. Can women recite loudly? Like if a sister is in the masjid, can she recite loudly? The scholars say that it is not permissible for women to recite Qur'an in the presence of non-mahram men, and in the presence of strangers or the person she can marry. She should not recite loudly, because the thing is, we will get into this. The Qur'an, when we recite, when we talk about tartil and beautifying the voice and so on, that's a whole slide. So when we recite Qur'an, we have to beautify it. It's not like singing, but we get into that. But that can cause temptation for others. So just like a woman wears hijab and covers herself, her voice is also similar. She has to make sure that she is not reciting out loud. Of course, if she is all by herself, or she has like her relatives, mahram people, father, son, husband, she can recite loudly at home. That's not a problem. But in presence of strangers or non-mahram men whom she can otherwise marry, she should not read it loudly. Can we read Qur'an while lying down, while sleeping, or while maybe when standing, walking, jogging, driving? Is it okay to recite Qur'an that way? In this case, I'm talking about reciting from memory. So you're lying down in the bed and you want to probably recite Suratul Mulk or Juz Amma, whatever. You want to get a lot of rewards. Can you recite the whole Juz while sleeping or lying down? It is allowed. It is okay. There's no problem in it, and I'll give you evidences from that. We have the verse from Qur'an, from Subhanallah, computer. الذين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض. Who remember Allah while standing or sitting or lying on their sides, and give thought to the creation of the heavens and the earth. And that the dua. So the thing here is that it is okay to recite while lying down, no problem. In fact, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was reclining in Sittina Aisha's lap, and he was reciting the Quran, and it is said that even though she was in her menses, she was menstruating, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam still recited it. So that's not a problem at all. And sometimes he was also riding a camel, and it is reported in Sahih Bukhari that he recited Surat Al-Fath while riding on the camel. So that is allowed, no problem. So don't give up on recitation. Sometimes people are like too much into, I have to give respect to Quran, I have to do this, I have to do that. But don't let that keep you away from reciting Quran. Make it easy. So that's one thing that you have to remember.